Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fearlessly Authentic. I'm your host, Jody Harrison Bauer, and I'm so honored to have you join me once again this week for the place where you are educated, entertained, empowered, and inspired by myself and my guests that I bring on every single week. So I'm so excited to start the show and introduce my guests. But before I do that, I want to remind you to review and subscribe to Fearlessly Authentic on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you listen to your podcast. But I believe you can only leave a review on Apple. So if you can do that, I would really appreciate it. And as always, I really appreciate hearing from you and knowing what you want to hear on the show. So I also wanted to just remind you once again, I've been talking about this for a while now. I started last January going more plant-based and using a company called Sakara. It's Sakara. And they make plant-based meals that are prepared and delivered to your home. So I had no clue how, I'm not a great cook to begin with, but I had no clue how to create and prepare plant-based meals. But Sakara does a beautiful job. So if you are interested in going plant-based, they also have other products. You can use my code XOJody to get 20% off your first purchase. So go to Sakara, that's SAKARA.com, use my code XOJody and get 20% off your first purchase and let me know how you love it. Anyway, we are ready to get on with the show with my amazing guest, Gayle Perry. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be there. This has been a long time coming. I'm here finally.
Yes. Gayle and I met each other virtually because I just started following her on Instagram because of her style. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background about Gayle. But it's funny. When I'm always looking for guests, it's either somebody suggests a guest to me or most of the time I fall upon them. And I started following her and I just loved her approach. And clearly the world loves her approach too. Her approach, she's super relatable and I loved her style. So a little bit about Gayle so you know who I'm talking to today. Here we go. I have to put on my glasses. Okay. After an illustrious 25-year career in fashion and advertising, Gayle Perry at Gayle Style is a New York City-based personal and home stylist known for her innate sense of style, keen eye for statement pieces, and her creativity in high-low dress and home accenting. Gayle specializes in helping define and elevate women's and men's personal and home style globally, and in helping them look and feel their best no matter body type, budget, or age. And that is really the reason I was so attracted to your page, for that reason. And, Gayle, I know you've had an illustrious career, but tell us how, where you started and how you decided to go on Instagram and start there and what's going on now.
Sure. Thank you for that introduction. As a young girl, I learned that if I dressed well, and it didn't mean dressed up, but it meant if I wore things that I liked, or if my room was neat, I could do anything. And I was fascinated with Wonder Woman and the notion that if you put on your armor, you can do anything. I have 5 younger siblings. My parents divorced when I was young. So there was like a lot to get through as a young child, but I could do anything. And I then was driven toward fashion and advertising. And I had the good fortune of working very closely with Donna Karan and Calvin Klein and the folks at Condé Nast, some amazing creative minds. And I saw how different ways to style women and men and even homes made such an impact. And even more than that, it looked beautiful, but it was about how you felt and how you felt wearing the certain items or in your home. And for years, women would ask me, what are you wearing? I was a girl on a budget. I was fortunate that I worked for these great companies, but I still was living in New York City month to month. I was gifted beautiful, fashionable pieces. And then I would mix and match with the likes of Zara and H&M and Topshop and create these outfits. And that's where the creativity and the magic really happened. So a friend asked me back in 2016, please already start an Instagram page. Show us what you're wearing. And when I go back and look at that one post, it's exactly where I am today. It's an H&M pant, a Chloe blouse, a vintage sweater, and a Jimmy Choo shoe. And, so that's where it began.
It's so interesting. So many people think that they have to have high end from head to toe. And one of the things that I learned from my mom, who's ill right now, but one of the things that she taught me was to mix and match way back when, didn't have a ton of money growing up, but we were comfortable. But I wasn't going, my mom wasn't taking me to Gucci. She was wearing Gucci. I wasn't wearing Gucci. Yeah. But she would wear a Gucci bag and a mink coat back when we were wearing real fur. And she would wear a less expensive, sweater. And I've followed that. My mom she used to dress very big. And I knew then, talking about style, I did not like her style. It was good for her, but it wasn't good for me. But I learned that mix and match. And one of the things, and I'm wondering what you think of this. One of the things my mom taught me was never buy an inexpensive bag or inexpensive shoes. You could mix and match the other pieces. How do you feel about that?
I do agree with that in general. I think that if you are going to invest in one area in your closet and you can't afford to wear designer clothing, but you can save up, and instead of buying 4 blouses at Zara plus a couple of jackets at H&M, pool that money, invest in a great pointy toe pump, invest in a great booty. The fortunate news is that there are labels and fashion houses now that aren't at the top, where style is much more accessible. And as much as I offer a lot of high-low, what appeals to me most is making style accessible to those who don't even have the opportunity to add high to their wardrobe. Because it's incredible to me now how accessible style is. However, I really hone in on having less in your closet, but more of the right things. I'd rather you have 4 or 5 blouses, let one of them be more designer, as high designer as you can go, and then let the others. So that's really my mantra.
I love that. I've sort of passed that on to my daughters. Less is more. Less is always more. I'd rather have 1 pair of really expensive shoes than 10 pairs of, let's just call them cheap shoes. But I wanted to go back to when you were growing up and how, when you had a neat, pretty bedroom on whatever budget it was, and you put yourself together beautifully, how you felt empowered that you were Wonder Woman. You could do anything. What do you think that's all about?
Necessity. Again, like having 5 younger siblings and helping my mom, get through the day to day as a single mom. I also was bullied in school pretty terribly from 6th to 12th grade. So I had to, out of necessity, I had to make myself feel better. And I had a lot of gratitude growing up, and I thank God for that. So, I think a mix of gratitude and just like understanding what I had to do for myself. No one was really, it's like, especially when you have a lot of kids in a family, like you have to figure out how to do for you. And I think this is why I've had the good fortune of really my platform growing so fast, to women like us who, they understand that I come from a place where, it hasn't always been so easy. And it's important to understand what really helps you feel better. And this is not a frivolous thing. Putting the oxygen mask on yourself, investing in the way you look, increases your productivity at home, out in the world. And during lockdown, I made it my purpose to every day motivate women and men around the world to put something on, even if they were sitting at home, even if they were walking from their bedroom to their living room, because doing that would help them.
That's such a great point. People do not understand until they work with somebody like you to realize that it is the clothing that helps us feel better. And again, it's not about frivolous people. And so many people think similarly to how people think, well, if I'm working out, I'm taking time away or money away. If I work with a personal trainer, taking time and money away from things and people I should be doing. Yet I use the oxygen mask as an example all the time. If you're not taking care of yourself, it's not being selfish. We can't take care of others, just like you were helping with your mom and this and your siblings. So that, you know, my mom, I can't believe I'm talking about my mom a lot and you know what's going on. And she used to say, come on, you know, when we were sick or something, come on, get out of bed, take a shower, put something pretty on. And that, what do you think the psychology is about it? I'm sure you've delved kind of deep in that. It's not about just throwing on a pretty shirt, but I'd like you to expand a little bit more on that.
So I've written a lot for the Daily Mail, actually, about the wellness of style. I've consulted with psychologists. I am a psychology minor. And there is a real impact on how you feel by the way you put yourself together. And it's the idea too, that when you put yourself out in the world and you have an outfit on, again, it doesn't have to be expensive or so dressy, but it has to be thoughtful. Because when people look at you, they say, wow, if she's that thoughtful or he's that thoughtful about the way he presents himself to the world, he must be that way at home, at work, through travel, reading. I want to know that person. I want to engage with that person. I want to do business with that person. And I think it's also a really important lesson to teach your children that the way we present ourselves to the world really matters. And that has always really, that's like soothed me, you know? And so the wellness of style is real. I've had women say to me, Gayle, you have changed my life. You're the first place I look in the morning. I thought I was done with myself. I lost myself. And you have given me the, permission, in a sense, to hone in on this. You know, now I have husbands calling and saying, I would love to gift my wife because I see her just watching you all the time. And then if I'm styling a woman, the husband will then come in and say, what about me? So I style a lot of men as well. And women tell me too, when I do this with you, I then learn what works best on my body, right? I learn then that I shouldn't make a mistake and buy that type of top, or I'm wearing clothing that's adding, weight to my body. So, and I've had a lot of women say, I have lost 40 pounds in 1 year because I like the way I look when I look in a mirror. And I was so desperate. And that is everything for me. It's the women who say, you've changed my life. Because I know how it changed my life.
Yes. And there's so many similarities between what we do, because we help people feel better in their body. When I say better, I mean stronger, more powerful, sexier, whatever it is, whatever that emotion is that you want to exude. And again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show was to explain the power of style, that it's not just, oh, who cares? It's about, and I want you to go into that, the fit, the proportion, everything like that. You're very tall. Well, tall to me. What are you, 5'6"?
I'm 5'6". A lot of people think I'm a lot taller when they see my reels where I'm showing my outfits. People, oh, but you're 5'10". I could never. And that actually supports my point that if you dress a certain way, it's actually very lengthening. And I have so many tips and tricks that are universal. They're tried and true for 6 years now, globally, on girls who are 13 and women who are 75. That's my client age range. And every body type. I've styled women who are underweight and trying to put weight on. And I have women who are size 24 to 26, and no matter, it's the Gale Tuck is something that I really, certainly I did not invent a certain tuck, but I call it the Gale Tuck. And now, people are doing it and they understand, and people who even don't have a flat tummy, because when you taper and you tuck in your clothing and you embrace your curves, there's such magic that happens. Women look in the mirror and they say, I'm sorry, the sun isn't, I should turn this way. Is that better? I was feeling very bright. They say, I can't believe how I look right now. You're right. I never thought I could tuck in. I never thought I could taper. Simply the Gayle roll of your sleeve and showing your forearm, and any body type is so
and so tell everybody what the Gayle Tuck is. And I want you to go into the forearm and, showing a bit of skin, which elongates the limb, but you explain it better than me.
So the Gale Tuck, and you can certainly see it on my Instagram because I give lots of examples of it, is when you take a sweater or a top and you tuck in the front and you tuck in the back. I can kind of do it here, and you let the sides hang out like wings here. And when you taper, but when you taper in the back and you can see the small of the lower back here and then the tush,
right.
It just provides a really flattering effect no matter your body type versus keeping the top out and looking like a column.
Right. So it shows no shape with the tuck, no matter whether you look like me or you or anything in between, it just creates the curve, right? It creates a curve.
Right. So, by tucking, here it creates that curve.
I love it. Are those Hudson jeans?
They are.
I have them. They're from like the 90s.
Yeah.
I have them from the 90s.
They just came back. They just came out with these again, and they're a flare. So we can get into.
Can you give me the link to those at the end of the show? Because I need those because mine have holes in them, and my daughters keep telling me, "Mom, you can't wear them." So anyway, they look great on you.
And then the reason I wore this shirt specifically, I figured instead of giving a demonstration. So this is a button down, and I could easily just kind of tuck this in, but I wanted to breathe new life to it.
Yep.
So I take the two pieces in the front and I tie it so that I really taper this shirt. And then the key is to tuck in on each side of the tie to keep the top down, because at 49, I don't like to show my tummy and I always want to be appropriate.
Right.
Okay. So that's a tapering effect that's really attractive on every body type. It is tried and true.
I told my friend, I don't wear a lot of button down shirts. I wear a lot of solids because I'm big chested and people think I'm 5'8" and I'm not even 5'1".
Yeah.
So, but I was out with a friend a couple of weeks ago, and I said to her, I said, "Do you like the way my shirt looks?" And I said, "You need to follow her. The Gayle Tuck." So anyway, tell us about the arm.
You look great in button downs. I'm going to get my hands on you.
Okay. I know we need to talk. So what about the arm? The
arm.
Yes.
So I could certainly leave the sleeve down. Fine. Right. But when you just do it, in some shirts, when you can open this up, this one doesn't. I start with the bottom, bring it all the way up, and I let the top fold over. So now showing my forearm opens me up. And I think it's just a very alluring look. Again, no matter your body type, this is the part of the body that's very feminine and pretty. The same goes with off the shoulder tops. No matter your weight, showing your shoulder is alluring.
I love showing the shoulder.
There are tips like that.
So what about a woman who has heavy arms and says, "Gayle, this doesn't work for me"?
She actually looks heavier by covering, in my opinion. And this area is always smaller than what's up here.
Right.
Show a little skin. And it really requires a mind shift. Are you hearing that noise?
I just heard it. Yes.
Okay. It's when, so it requires a mind shift.
So let's talk about that mind shift, because when we do change, whether it's, in my case, diet, nutrition, sleep habits, whatever.
I lost you for a second. I'm sorry. Say that again.
So whether it's in mind shifts, whether it's fitness, nutrition, starting a new bedtime regimen, how do you help somebody comes in, they're not comfortable with their body? I mean, this is what I work with a lot. Women come in, they're not comfortable. They're wearing clothes that don't fit them. You know that right away, Gayle. And they're hiding behind their clothes, and they think if they wear something really big, then that's going to hide what they look like. But it actually makes them look bigger. So how do you begin? What would be the first step? Where would you begin in that mind shift? Because I know so much of it is the way you speak to somebody and the way you take them on the journey.
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. First and foremost, I've had women start out and the fear in their faces. I've had some of them say, I almost canceled. Like I couldn't even imagine. And just by talking with them and sharing a bit of my experience and where it comes from helps them feel a lot better. And also, I explain to them how much I care about women and how long I've been doing this and how I know that these tips and tricks are tried and true. And I say, let's just try it. So let's just try it. You don't have to continue to do it, but I'm going to show you why I believe. And in time, you may be able to trust me, but you have to, instead of every time you look in the mirror and focusing and hearing those demons in your head that are saying, oh my God, I look so big, I can never look like you. It's not even about looking like me.
No.
And it's amazing to me that so many women understand that and they're not afraid, right? Because the idea, I want every woman to look and feel her most beautiful, and I know how to do it. So, and some women will say, you know, I'll call you when I lose the weight. One woman, I said, let me just take a look at what you're wearing now, if you'd like, or call me in a year, or whatever. Within one session, by tucking in, putting on a blazer, showing your form, a flare jean they're magical. Flare jeans are magical because they balance the leg. If you're feeling your legs are big and you can add a flare on the bottom of your leg to balance your thigh, no matter your height. So, you know, that's really, and then once they try it, I've had women cry on the spot. That very woman who said, I almost canceled on you and said, oh my God. And how about this? And can I do this? And now every time she's out with her husband or at a party, she's sending me photos. And she feels like, I've had another woman say, I finally can have intimacy with my husband again. I wouldn't let him touch me for years. And that's what this is about. It's big.
It is. And when they come to you, and I feel the same way, you know, I feel like there's so many similarities. They come and there's always something more underlying. It's not just they don't like the way they look in the clothes. It's that underlying, I want to be intimate with my partner. I want to feel sexy, but they don't know that that's really what they want to do. Yet with your help, you are helping them define, as you said, define who they are. This is who you are, Mary. And then I'm going to help. Once we define who you are and you're good with it, we're going to elevate the heck out of this style, because this is where you're going to go to. You can go, we're going to elevate you as high as we can go, right?
At your budget level. That's
yes.
No matter your budget.
Yes.
I can find women the most gorgeous outfit and look for no matter.
Well, we're going to talk about that after the break. So stay with us, everybody. We are going to get more tips on how to style ourselves at any budget, any age, any height, anything, with Gayle Perry at Gayle Style. So check her out during the break and come back with us in a few minutes. See you in a few minutes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fearlessly Authentic with my guest, Gayle Perry, who is a home and fashion stylist, an expert. She styles women and men and homes. And we haven't even gotten to your home styling. But before, as we got out of the break, my sound engineer needed some fashion tips, and we're going to give it to him right now. He asked, are skinny jeans in or out? And so what's your answer on in and out and skinny jeans?
Well, I think since he's a gentleman, I think skinny jeans for men are always more appealing, because when you taper and you wear a slim fit, no matter a man's body type, it's more appealing. For women, I have been enjoying showing women that I work with that, and even those who follow me, that it's good to broaden your denim wardrobe, right? And I don't subscribe to skinny jeans being in or out. If they make you look and feel your best, I'm all for them, right? So, however, I do believe a flare jean, like I said before, is really chic and very flattering on women who aren't where they consider their ideal weight. I love a skinny jean inside of a bootie, because what the bootie or the boot does is it adds width at the bottom of the leg, right? I also love a skinny jean with an oversized blazer and a pointy toe pump. It's very chic. So it's very much a bespoke, custom situation when I work with women, and even when I put forth my ideas on Instagram. But the notion of in and out, I just want women to be open-minded to other styles that may be flattering as well.
Thank you for answering that, because I think so many women and men ask, is this in or is this out? So Aaron asking this question was very appropriate. It doesn't make a difference if it's in or out. It's what looks well on you and your body, how you carry yourself in it, how confident you are. So if you feel great at it and it looks good on you, then go for it and wear it. So one of the things, I just thought of this when you were talking about it, I hear from men, including my husband, they hate the high-waisted style. Hate. He likes to see, like I mentioned, your Hudson jeans, where they fit a bit lower on the hip. They're not hip huggers, if people remember that name. But they come down a little bit lower, so they show off the waist a little bit. Where do you stand on that? How do you feel about that? You're probably going to tell me if you like the way it feels on you, but what's your personal opinion? I just want to know.
I will say this, as I've gotten older, and I always want to still be beautiful and sensual and sexy, but appropriate. Right. And I find a lot of those lower styles are just really not appropriate, because like, you're just like, where are you going with that? You know what I mean? It's like, it's low. I think once women learn, wow, I can look really great in a higher waist, a higher waisted jean, if I style it this way. The key is really tapering your top, whether it's the Gale Tuck, whether it's the Gale tie. There are ways to do that, so that then you could say, wow, I really do like the high-waisted jeans. And it just takes time for men to get into it too. Like, I actually have a client, and they're amazing. They're married almost 30 years. They can't keep their hands off each other. So cute. He loves her, super sexy, hoochie mom, like all this stuff. And I put her in some other outfits, and he's like, wow, she looks even sexier.
Love that.
She looks even sexier. And really the reason she looks sexier, she's like, Gayle, I wasn't feeling appropriate. I'm starting to look like my daughter, but I know my husband likes me this way. So let's just try. And now he really can't keep his hands off her, because she's a little higher. She's not as revealing, and she actually looks sexier.
Right. When you show, it's not about, as we get older, I do remember when I was 49, but when we get older, it's, again, less is more. And hopefully we're more confident in who we are. And that's why we can go out there, and we don't need to show a lot of skin. We don't need to show a lot of cleavage. It's less is more. It's about who we are as women, the sensual, sexy, confident women. And the clothes just add to who we are as human beings, right?
And I say, it's good to use clothing as self-expression. And it's a real creative outlet for me. I put a reel out every day, and there are days I'm really tired, as a single mom of 2 kids. I'm exhausted some evenings, but I'm like, you know what? It's such an outlet for me, and I get excited about it. My goal also, and I really want to stress this point, is that I want to make dressing easier. Oftentimes dressing is so stressful for women. They stand in their closets, and men, and they feel like deer in headlights. And I want to help them understand that with certain pieces, they can say to themselves in the shower, wow, today I'm going to wear that jean, this blouse, and just make it so easy.
So let's get into the classics. What would you say that everybody, no matter age, size, budget, because as you mentioned before, you can style anybody at all of those things, budgets, age, everything. What are the top things that everybody should have in their closet?
To instantly, I'm sorry, there's New York City.
Yes, it's okay.
It happens every time. First and foremost, a blazer, a well-fitting blazer, instantly elevates. I've had women say, but I don't own one. You could literally put on a blazer over a t-shirt with a pair of leggings and a sneaker, picking up your kids at school, going from the gym to the grocery store, and you instantly feel better. The structure of a blazer does wonders, and it's super sexy, with jeans and a heel, leggings and a sneaker. So first and foremost, and I can find you a blazer for $49 or for sky's the limit. So that's the good news. Secondly, every woman should own a beautiful white blouse. And again, it could be a Zara blouse, or it could be a Stella McCartney blouse, or a Gucci blouse. Blouses, a lot of women don't wear them. And they're feminine, they're chic, especially when they're V, like a V that I'm wearing, that style, or an open style. Because when you lengthen your neck area, it does wonders too.
Why is that? Okay. So tell me why the lengthening, and I don't have a long neck, but another thing I learned from my mom, open neckline, opens your face, opens everything. But I don't know the psychology behind it. Why?
So every woman, nearly every woman that I meet in her closet, when she wears a button down, she's buttoned up to here. And that's perfectly fine. When you open the button and the material still kisses, so it's appropriate, I'm not hanging out.
Right.
Do you see how a deeper V gives me the appearance of a longer neck and therefore a lengthened appearance, of lengthened body? It just opens you up more. So the combination of doing this to my neck area, this to my arm, and tapering changes the way I look. Whereas if I were more closed and down, it's just a different. And I've seen women say, wow, I see exactly what you're saying. So oftentimes we'll shop in their closets.
Right.
I don't even have to recommend anything. And I say, wow, I never thought I could wear that. And this is a way to really breathe new life.
Okay, so we've got the blazer, the white blouse. What else?
A pointy toe pump. Many women do not own a pointy toe pump. And what a pointy toe pump, first of all, it is probably the prettiest shoe a woman can wear. It's so elegant for centuries. And especially in a nude color, because that really, and for African-American women, there are some beautiful browns out there. When you can lengthen the color of your leg and that continuation, it's so stunning. So I oftentimes will wear like a black dress or a color dress and a nude shoe so that I don't have that stop.
So there's that elongation, the continuation of your leg. So I'm going to stop you there. We're going to get back to all of the things. So right now there's a lot of styles with Bottega, for example, with the square toe. The square toe is in. How do you feel about that? Is it only on certain clients? Would you suggest it?
Well, here's the thing. You asked me like the things you should get right now. So first and foremost, have these classic staples that transcend seasons and time and, transcend trends, frankly.
Right.
Then have fun with some of these trends. Like I have a square toe from YSL. It's brilliant. It's a square gold toe, burgundy suede heel. I wore it the other day. Bring them out, enjoy them, mix and match, have fun. But if you're trying to build a foundation and want my Gale style collection or capsule collection to, elevate right now and get going, the pointy toe first.
Okay. And then, so we've got the blazer, the white blouse, pointy toe. So far I'm 3 for 3. What else?
The perfect white t-shirt that you can wear under the blazer or under what is next, a chunky cardigan. And what I love about I almost should have examples next time, because when you put a chunky cardigan over your shoulder, it's a really chic, effortless look. I like to look put together and chic. I like to make a statement, but I also like to look somewhat effortless, even though there's a ton of effort that goes into this.
Yes. And I think that's probably what you teach your followers so much, is that effortless look. Yes, it takes work like anything.
But it takes work only really in the beginning, Jody,
right?
I invest the time to find the right pieces. And then even with my makeup or my hair, I know how to do it in minutes.
Right. So I love this. So how about quickly for a man, what would his essential pieces be?
So for a man, and I just did this yesterday, 2 well-fitting shirts, button downs or button ups, however you like to call them, that are slim fitting, tailored, tapered, in white and in blue. Some men, I love to see the pinks and the purples on. A sport jacket is really important because you can wear it with jeans and a great shirt underneath and really look put together, especially at holiday time. You don't need to wear a suit, because if you can style those with a great pair of jeans and a boot in the winter, or a great shoe in the summer, a great sneaker. Men can get away with a fashionable sneaker if they wear, a blazer and a great shirt. It's easy. And then for men, a navy V-neck and a navy crew, and you call it a day. And sometimes you wear the sweater over the shirt, or sometimes you wear the jacket over the shirt. Men, it's easy.
Yeah, these are such great tips for essentials to how to build a wardrobe. So I'm sure that there are so many people you meet that don't have those things in there. So you start with that foundation. I think of it like, okay, when somebody starts with me, we start with like, okay, do you know how to do a squat, a lunge, the foundational moves in a workout, right? So once you have that, then you start defining their style. Talk about that, defining and elevating style, which you talk about so often. I love that.
Which is actually the perfect segue of where I want to go with this. Because when I work with women and men, I also do like a complete makeover many times, right? I'll be shopping with a woman for boots at Saks and she'll say, I like your highlights. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because I really think with some highlights would brighten you up, make you feel more youthful, blah, blah. And I get on the phone and she goes to see Nicole at Valerie Joseph's salon, or Ayal, who, I wear extensions. And the reason that I bring this up is that this is a part of my wellness of style. This is a part of my armor. My dermatologist, Dr. Marnie Nussbaum, like I owe so much to her because at 49, I want to look my prettiest and most youthful, but appropriate. And the woman who did my makeup this morning, Liron at Valerie Joseph. So these are the folks, like I have a team that I then bring to the women I work with, and even the men, like they'll go see Valerie Joseph, so it's, that is a part of your wellness of style. And if you say to yourself, okay, I can't invest in everything, right? I mean, that's for many, that's reality. And I get it.
Right.
Then what I would do is be sure you have a great haircut. There's amazing accessible makeup out there. Be sure you're taking care of your skin with a dermatologist and invest. If you're going somewhere, have a blow dry. The way that makes you feel, because then you can wear a $49 blazer with a t-shirt underneath, a great pair of jeans, and a shoe from, Nine West or wherever, Zara, and feel amazing. And so this is what I do for women.
And when you show your tips on your Instagram account, which is great, I feel that, one of the reasons, and another reason I wanted to have you on the show was because the things that you are teaching the women who are following you, women and men, you're teaching them to overcome their fears.
Yes.
The fear of, as you mentioned, in the closet, deer in the headlights. What do I wear? What do I wear? What do I wear? Nothing fits. I don't like the way this looks. And then there's this fear. Well, if nothing fits me, I'm not going to go into a store. How am I going to shop online? Clearly, I don't know. And that's why there are people like you. You help them overcome their fear, not of fashion, but of helping to define who they are, because they don't know, they get lost. And as we age, whether they're 13 or 75 or 80 years old, we want the fashion to reflect who we are authentically. So getting over that fear and then bringing our truest self out to the world, right?
Absolutely. And I've had women say to me, one woman said, Gayle, I have to find myself again. I was so mean to my husband last night, sitting at this dinner table, looking at everyone else, thinking they looked better than me. I was nasty to my kids the next day. I cannot stand myself right now. I don't like who I am. And I said, this is not going to happen anymore.
Right.
And already after one session, she's like, I can't tell you what this has done for me. And so, I always knew, and it goes back to when I was a young girl, I always knew that I had this vision that would impact. And I just feel so grateful. I feel so grateful to you. I feel so grateful to any opportunity where I can have more women and men to speak to, because I think what I'm sharing makes I've seen the impact it makes. And this is a time when we need it more than ever, and what you're doing more than ever. I was saying to myself, my God, I'd love to have someone come here and move my body with me.
We need to talk. We need to get together. Yeah. We're just one state away from each other. So we definitely need to talk. If you had to give 3 or 5 tips to anyone, I know we gave the essentials, but 3 tips to finding not fashionable, but finding what works for them if they aren't working with somebody like you. They're listening to the show. What do I do now? What can I do now? I want to work with Gayle, but maybe it doesn't work for me for whatever reason. What can they do?
I've directed many women who can't yet hire me straight to my page.
Okay.
I had a woman write to me this morning. She said, Gayle, I just sat for 1 hour with my coffee, went through every one of your reels, took notes. I know what to shop for. I know what to pack for.
Love that.
I think also say to yourself, how do I live my life? What do I need to dress for?
Yes.
And because that will help. Okay, I live a more casual life. Let me invest in a great pair of jeans. I live a more, I go to work, but I want to wear great jeans in the wintertime. Take a look at your denim. So much happens there, because especially these days when we can wear denim to more places, they act as a canvas. And I'm telling you, what makes me feel more powerful than anything is the right pair of jeans, because then I can dress them up or down. So definitely a great pair of jeans, and you actually feel better. It's almost like when you have a bathing suit that makes you feel really good. It's life-changing.
I have a love-hate relationship with jeans, because
yeah.
I'm sure that a lot of people listening do.
I work with a lot of women at your height, and and we will visit denim departments together, or we'll FaceTime once the denim arrives. And what I spoke about before in a mind shift, a lot of us look in the mirror, I do it myself, and we focus on the areas we don't like. And when you help yourself stop doing that. And I think, a woman said, it's like having a best friend in my closet. So a lot of these women will say, what would Gayle wear? Or,
I love that.
Yeah.
So to taking action today without hiring you, they can go to your page, they could go to your account. What else could they do to take some action?
I think they should take a look at their closets, and they should really edit out what they're not wearing for two reasons.
Love that.
There's a lot of clothing in your closet that maybe doesn't fit you anymore, that makes you feel ashamed. I don't want any woman feeling shameful about clothing that doesn't fit her anymore. Our bodies change. It has not been an easy time. Why keep it there? Women who say, but I may fit into it one day. That's a very negative exercise. Let it go. The needy are even needier right now. They could use this clothing. Allow yourself items that are a bit bigger, that fit properly, that actually make you look thinner. Clean out what's in there. So there is room for items that are going to bring you joy.
You gave me chills when you said that, because I love that you talked about how the clothes make us feel over and over again, how they make us feel. So if they feel beautiful and sexy and comfortable, whatever box it is that you need to check off for that item, that evening, that day, and then get rid of the ones that make us feel ashamed of that we don't fit into those jeans, or something's too loose because we've lost a lot of weight for whatever reason, or we've gained a lot of weight.
Women too. I have those who say, I'll gain it back, and I'm so afraid I'm making it back. Let it go right now. It served you for a time.
Beautiful.
Let someone else who really needs this, and make room, because it's too much. There's so much clutter, and it's the same approach I have with homes. It's like, it's too much.
We didn't talk about home, and I don't know how much more time we have, but can you give us a little bit of a snapshot of what you do in your home styling?
Sure. So I like a more minimal, modern, but also classic approach, which means that even though it's not cluttered, so it is more minimal, it's very comfortable and very pretty. So for me, like anytime I approach a home, I do it the way I approach dressing, right? So high and low, some statement pieces in the room that really are kind of the jewelry for the home, accenting it in a certain way. That's a real expression of who you are. Just the way I wear my clothing is an expression of who I am. And my home represents that as well. And I'm able to style a home at any budget too, because you can find great pieces at Amazon and Target and the like. So
right. And do you find that when you're dressing if you're styling somebody for fashion and styling their home, is there any disconnect, and do you try to make connection, or where do you go with that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, but I mean, most often, women will bring me into their homes to dress them. They're like, take a look at this, take a look at that, because they just trust. Like, yes. I love a surface or a body to dress, or a home, and it's like, I just have a really good sense of how things and, the heights of things and spatial, and the colors and the feeling that you want your home to give you. And that's really what helped me. I was nervous as a single mom. I took on a bigger apartment. The world shut down. People stopped dressing. So the opportunity where people were then investing in their homes because they were getting depressed.
Yes.
They're looking around, there's like bowls and bowls of crap on the foyer table, with due respect,
Yes.
you know, the bowls of the mask, the bowls of, I said, put them underneath. No one needs to see all this. Let your children reach for a mask in the cabinet. It's okay. It doesn't have to be right there for them, you know, and have a home that's where you can breathe a little more with less clutter. And how about a pretty object that makes you feel really good when you come home and see that pretty object?
And, you know, all of these tips, everything that you're suggesting, the essentials, everything seem to be very simple and understandable. You know, nothing is very convoluted or hard to understand. You know, it's simple. Just really know who you are and find somebody that you can trust to help you. And
I'm glad you say that, because I am, like I said, a single mom. I live a busy life, and I understand the lives we live as women, you know, and men, and what we need to do, the efficiencies we need to have.
yes,
And I know what has worked for me, and it's a joy. I mean, I know my life purpose. I knew it when I was young. I was given the chance to choose a rock at camp, and my rock said inspire. And I knew that that's all I wanted to do in my life, was inspire. So, and it's probably very healing for me because I was bullied so badly in my life, but that's what, you know, it led me here. So
I want to talk to you about that another time when I have you back on the show, if we want to get into that. But, you know, you are helping people feel confident and beautiful. So I want to know from you, what does it mean to you to be fearlessly authentic?
So that's really, I wouldn't be here if I weren't. You know, I'm approached often by companies. I'm so fortunate that would love for me to wear what they make, and they provide opportunities to, you know, be in business with them. And I stay very true to what I do, because I don't want to just throw something out there in order to make a dime. That's not like anything that I wear and that I share, is that because I really believe in it, and I know the joy it gives me, how it makes me feel confident. I want every woman and every man to feel confident, because the more confident we all feel, we will help each other. It's that notion of like, help a woman in a village, and the children, and the whole world is better. You know,
I love that. We have to close. I think we have like 10 seconds left. Erin, can you keep us on here for 10 more seconds? If you want to get in touch with Gayle, it's at Gayle Style on Instagram. And where else, Gayle?
It's really at Gayle Style. That is the place. There's an email, and I spell my name Gayle. So at Gayle Style.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Gayle, for being on the show. Happy holidays. And we will have Gayle back to for the new year. I would love to have you back again to discuss more styles and how people can feel confident and, you know, fearlessly authentic in their clothing. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining me for Fearlessly Authentic, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.